Hello and welcome to the Just a Thought podcast with myself, Lisa McFarland, and my beautiful assistant stroke co-host, Amy Doherty.
Hi.
Hi, Amy. So we're going to do this a bit differently, Amy. You know, I come up with these wonderful ideas, but don't quite think them through and then just launch them at you and expect the pieces to be picked up. But here we are. Full face of makeups on a Monday morning, because not only will this podcast be available on all the usual places, aka where Amy puts it, but we're also recording and it's going to be on YouTube, because I have found myself watching podcasts recently while at the gym or just even sitting on an evening. And even since we did the talk show, I find myself watching YouTube on the TV. So here we are recording it for those of you who like to watch it on YouTube. Also, we're doing it slightly differently because it's going to be questions and answers. I put a little box up on Instagram and we have lots of lovely, juicy questions. I can't even cope. And I've passed them over to Amy and I don't have any idea what way they're going to come at me, which is how I like to work most of the time. So Amy's going to pick the questions and ask me the questions on the spot. And I'm just going to take this moment to say thank you for subscribing and following both of us. At the end, we will remind you of our Instagrams. But if you could tap subscribe, that would be awesome. Right, Amy? Okay. Where are we starting?
Can I just say I love question and answers? I always find them really interesting to watch back. So
yes,
I'm
so
excited.
Do I. But here we are on the other side of it. It's quite a slightly different feeling. But anyway, yes.
Okay. First question. I want another baby, marriage, and a home. But my partner won't talk about it.
Oof, not the thing with that is not even talking about it is even worse than saying that's not for me.
Yeah. Like he's just absolutely no communication about it. Nothing.
Oh, no. As a talker myself, that would be huge for me. I just don't know. I just don't know. No, you know what I'm going to say? He's most likely avoidant attachment style, which is then making her, even if she's not, she's probably making her anxious attachment style. Would you agree?
I would agree.
So we'd have to look at that. Maybe if they did their attachment style test, that would be something to start talking about before you even start talking about those big, big subjects. I would also recommend doing their core values, because this seems to be a core value for her. So she picks 10 core values, he picks 10 core values, and they sit down and they see what matches. If none of his core values match her core values, we'll have to really think.
Yeah, exactly. The bigger picture. Yeah.
Is this relationship really a goer? You know, you might fancy the pants off each other and you might have the best laugh or the best crack and the best nights out. But is there a base there to build a relationship?
Yeah, no, I agree. Because unless you both want the same things out of a relationship, there's no point at all. Because like you say, intimacy could be brilliant. You have the best crack as best friends. But if you don't have that same outlook, it's not going to end well.
And I'm presuming that this lady who wrote in
just dropped her microphone for everyone not watching on YouTube.
Anybody is watching or had earpods in and they've just been absolutely holding that from now on, not wafting my hands around. This is real TV, as they say. I'm presuming that she's not 18 and that she's looking for, you know, she's not just looking for a lover right now. She's looking for a partner that she wants to build a life with. I'm just presuming that. So I'm presuming she's maybe 25, 27, 47. I don't know. And she just wants to really, you know, start building a life with somebody. So we'll have to get those core values drilled down.
Yeah. Okay. You ready for the next one?
Holding the mic, Amy. I'm not doing any more flapping with the hands.
Okay. My partner is depressed. What do I do?
Oh, you picked really good ones, Amy. Like, I mean, nothing put me on the spot or anything.
That's a
Okay.
hard one too, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I've coached a few people recently when one or other is really struggling, really low mood, depression, and lots of people now with symptoms of long COVID as well, which is really affecting their relationship, you know. So why is our person depressed? What's happened? Is there a tragedy that's happened, both of you? Have they lost their job? Are the kids unwell? Is it finances? What is it? Or is it nothing? We know that tons of people suffer from depression when there's actually no reason, which I think can be really annoying, really upsetting for people.
Yep.
That's a wrong thing to say, that it's easier, but you know, if you put your finger on something. But
yeah,
anyway, if we could encourage our person to go to the GP and or talk to somebody, that would be so good. But lecturing our person on what they need to do because they are depressed is the absolutely worst thing to do.
Absolutely. I've been in a relationship before where it was my mental health that was the one that was struggling, and we were both quite young at the time. So I put it down to our age and my partner at the time not being able to cope with that. But all I would say is you just want to feel seen, and you just want your person to be there for you. Whether that's just sitting beside you on the sofa, watching a TV show, you just don't feel less alone. So until that person's ready to open up and talk about it, I wouldn't force that, because mental health is a whole different.
And I talk to couples all the time. When someone says, "What's wrong with you?" when you're down there, you have no idea what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
No idea how to answer the question. And also, when the question is put like that, the pressure of trying to figure out what's wrong. I would sometimes give people this wee tool, and I used it with my teenagers, and I still use it with Jake sometimes, that so could you, if you say to your person, "What's your number today?" and your person comes back with 2 or 3, so that's really quite low. "And what's your word for today?" and your person comes back with blah, or "I don't know," or "sad," or "gray," or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, Amy, just, I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
You want to walk the dog? Do you want to watch something on TV? I'm here for you. But
Yeah.
we don't have to spiral down as well.
No, definitely not. Okay, I'm going to pick out another one now.
That's juicy. You know, something juicy this time, Amy. Not serious. Am I joking? Where are we going to be cursing, Mike?
Here we go. We broke up, but my ex thinks that we should give it another go. I'm not sure what to do. I'm not really sure if I've got my needs met in that relationship, but I do still love him.
I love that she's even identifying that she knows what her needs are.
Yes, that's a very positive sign. Yeah.
Like, back in the day, if someone had said to me, "What are your needs in this relationship?" I'd have been like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing to me is, I think anyone who's listened to this podcast before knows how single I am. But since working with you and getting to know you, I know all this now. So I know, like, my needs being met, I know it all. So I'm ready to go.
I was away at the weekend with 3 friends, and we were discussing what our needs are and how many needs I have, actually. And they were laughing at me, which is fine. And I was laughing at them too. But, you know, one of them was like, you know, one of her needs is that she likes her back to be rubbed. I'm like, I'm not sure if that's really a need, but okay.
Yeah.
That's her need, and her partner knows it, and they're fine with it.
Yeah.
And then they were keeping me going because they were telling me I was such a princess, and I do have a lot of needs, and I love being looked after. I love being looked after. I think probably in my life, I'm quite, you know, I'm the boss of things. So when it comes to my romantic relationship, I love being looked after. I have another friend, and she hates that. She detests it, like independence and making their own plan. You know, so
Yeah. Yeah. Each to their own. Whatever works for you.
Exactly. So let's have a chat before they get back together. Let's have a chat. He mightn't even know what his needs are, but if she starts saying these words, you
Yeah.
know, you
Yeah.
know. So figure out what his needs are. Can she meet his needs?
Yeah.
That might be a good way to go at it, rather than, I don't think you can meet my needs. What's his needs?
Yeah.
Can she meet his needs, or he meet his needs, or whatever it is, so just start thinking about that, because if we don't have, again, that base, relationships are tricky. Life can be difficult sometimes. So if we don't have that base,
Yeah.
don't have that base, and then other things come into life, very, very, very tricky. And it is okay to love somebody, but say,
Yeah. It's not for me. Yeah. Sometimes, unfortunately, that does happen. And you can love a person, but they just don't meet your needs, and they won't meet your needs. And
no.
you just have to know that you're better to walk away.
And then actually what happens is, it's unfair to
Yeah.
ask that person for something that they can't give.
Yeah. Yeah. Just in order to have you there. Yeah.
And that's terrible pressure to put on somebody. If you flip it around, obviously we've discussed my princessness, but it turns out my Bobby, everybody knows he's called Nigel. He loves that. He loves to look after me. He loves all that. I don't need that much looking after, but he loves that. It makes him very happy. He thrives on that, so that works for us. But if I was with somebody who didn't like that, then that's not a fair pressure to put on them.
No. No, I think it's a definite conversation needed, and go from there.
And it is okay to say, I still love you, but we are not right for each other.
Yes.
Or once we have these conversations, we might find out that we can do it.
Yeah. This next question is one that I ask you all the time too. Are there any good men? But she also did write about breadcrumbs. So she's not getting the full banquet, she's just getting breadcrumbs. So she's asking, are there any good men out there? I think she's trying to say men that will give her the banquet.
Yeah. So I coach lots of single ladies and guys, and there are good men out there, and there are good women out there. Coach plenty of guys who can't find good women.
Yeah, that is true.
Coach plenty of same-sex couples who can't find a good.
Yeah.
So we'll just recap about the breadcrumbs thing, Amy. So everybody is entitled to the banquet. Okay. We can't be crawling around accepting breadcrumbs. Okay. So the breadcrumbs are just that text once a week to keep you hanging in. The breadcrumbs are when you go out, maybe only checking in with you once or twice, but everybody else in the room gets all your attention. So we don't, and whatever breadcrumbs are to you. I think I came up with this one because I heard an actress whose name eludes me at this minute in time saying that being a parent of teenagers is like being a supermodel. And I was like, okay, it doesn't feel like being a supermodel one bit. And she said, it's like surviving on breadcrumbs.
True. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So when your kids are teenagers, just getting that one hug, or getting that one kiss, or getting that one bit of communication, you're like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. But in our relationship, we deserve and should be giving the banquet.
Yeah.
The other term I would hear people say is that they are always seem to attract Peter Pan mentality. So, I had never really heard that before. So again, there are women and men out there who don't have that mentality and who do want to build a great relationship. But we have to do the work first. We have to get ourselves to a place where we're surrounding ourselves with people who want the banquet.
Yes.
Also,
yeah.
If we are still accepting the breadcrumbs, we're never going to get the banquet people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one I would use, I've decided I'm actually Jesus now because I only talk in parables. The The other one I use is, don't be taking the jewels out of your crown to come down. You know, if you want to go out and have go on Tinder and hook up with somebody and have one night stands, and listen, there's relationships that come out of one night stands, don't get me wrong, but if you have at it, absolutely have at it, you do you. But if you are going at it because you want a relationship, you need to say that out the door.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Want to get to know you, want to spend time with you. Yes, I'm physically attracted to you, but there's lots of things in here we need to talk about before we jump into bed.
Yeah. And I think more often than not, as women especially, well, there are men too that do it for other women, but as women, we will go along with what the man is saying in the hope that this man is going to miraculously turn around and say, oh, I do want this relationship now too. So, we'll accept the late night texts and we'll run whenever they say, come on. But it doesn't ever end well.
Doesn't ever end well. And that's when we have to look at our self-worth.
Yeah.
We have to look at what we are willing to and how much love and acceptance we have for ourselves. Because once we get that love and acceptance and know our enoughness, then magically we just stop taking this behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. The late night text or something else I was going to say. It doesn't matter. Yes. So yeah, we have to know what we deserve. We have to know what we deserve. And what we want.
And what we want. Okay, I'm looking for more.
There's bound to be a ghosted one in here somewhere, Amy.
Oh yes, there is.
Okay, hit me with the ghosted one.
Are you ready?
Oh.
Yeah, ghosting's just the worst.
It has to stop. It just has to stop.
Like the ghosting thing for me is awful. Okay. In turmoil over why my boyfriend ended it after 6 months. How to get over this with absolutely no closure. So he's off. He's gave her no explanation, no closure. He's off, and that's it. Relationship ended.
And interesting that she said boyfriend.
Yes, it's her boyfriend.
I can hear by your voice, you're very upset. Look at them, they're out of the game.
I know, I'm trying to remain calm. I'm like, but I'm like, yes, it's her boyfriend.
You triggered with this one, Amy. Is this one bringing something up for you?
Yes, it is. All I can say to her is I've been there, and it was my boyfriend at the time too that he just ghosted. And you're in a relationship with this person. You hear stories about, going on dates and them being ghosted, but this is a relationship ghoster.
And you just weren't ghosted, Amy, like you were physically ghosted as well. Like
I was physically ghosted, yeah.
Just, as Jake would say, disappeared. Like he literally disappeared.
Oh yeah. We went away for the weekend together, came home, had this nice night away booked to end the perfect weekend. I went to the shower. Literally, there was no arguing, by the way. And people are always like, what? Like, this is like a Netflix series. And came out and I was chatting away. I was chatting away to my boyfriend who just had vanished. And I looked around, I was like, where has he went? Went outside, no sign of him. Tried to ring him, straight to voicemail. And then I was like, my heart started beating. Then I was like, something's going on. Then I noticed that he had left all my shopping from that day inside our hotel room. So then I started going on social media and I was like, surely he can't have just done a runner here. This doesn't happen. But oh no, he had me blocked off all social media. So he had got in his car, went on his phone, blocked me off everything, and then just drove off. Never heard from him since, by the way.
The thing is, it's just downright rude and selfish, and there's lots of things I'm going to talk about that minute, but it's scary.
It's scary. It is.
Scary.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely scary.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say, and I know you agree, Amy, with this because we've talked about it before. You dodged a bullet there. That was heartbreaking and terrifying, but that's not someone you want to be with.
No, absolutely not.
now on this side.
Yeah.
And this girl will come to that realization as well.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't have the emotional wherewithal to say, look, we're going to have to pause things here because my mum's sick, because work is because I just can't right now, or I just, whatever it is, even make up an excuse, but just be forthcoming with something. Okay.
Yeah.
The problem is too with the ghosting, as you say, all the social medias, and if you're watching this in another country, we're in Northern Ireland here, and everybody can connect to somebody. There's like no getting away with it. I mean, my daughter studies in England, and when she meets someone with a Northern Ireland accent, they can always get a connection back to knows somebody who knows so and so. So it's not really very sensible, the whole ghosting thing. Like, now my voice is going up as well. Now
you're getting it.
Again, I would say the person who ghosted has very little self-awareness, self-acceptance, love for themselves. No, these conversations are difficult, but when we have good self-esteem, have difficult conversations.
Yeah. And I think that this girl, because I've been there, thank God I'm on the other side of it now, but this girl at the moment is probably just so shell-shocked that she's just like, what is going on? What happened? What triggered this? But you will never get the answers to that, unfortunately. You just have to say, dodged a bullet. I am far better off. Like, if someone's going to ghost you and you're in a relationship, not worth it. Really not worth it. Like, she's so lucky to be out of that, because it could be years down the line and he could have done that.
Exactly, Amy, exactly. And I'm imagining, thank the Lord in heaven, I've never been ghosted. I don't think it was a thing 33 years ago. Like things like, what does she do if she bumps into him in the shop? Like, practical things.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, no, I know. It's honestly, it's insanity.
I've heard some lovely stories of people finishing relationships and really having the emotional intelligence to maybe go and have a coffee with the person after the relationship's over, saying things like, look, you know, if we are in the same company, I don't want it to be weird, you know, here's your hoodie back, or here's your blah back, and I do want this to be like, you know, and that's really lovely and grown up and sensible and shows emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
You want to be with somebody. Nigel and I always say, you might know this person, you may, Brian Adams. Well, you maybe heard your mum and daddy playing Brian Adams, but he has a song that's called 18 Till I Die. So we talk about being 18 till we die, but with emotional intelligence.
Yes, that's good, actually. Yeah.
So she has thought about it, but grieving, she's going through grief, anger, disbelief,
shock. Yeah.
bargaining, yeah. Sad, acceptance. And you've got the acceptance, Amy, and you can see the full picture now. But until she gets to acceptance, it's very difficult.
Yeah, it is. When you're going through it, it's hard. But now I find it funny. I actually do laugh at it now. I like, it's a story I can tell people. It really does. It breaks the ice.
True. Also true. And I'm sure when you were going through it, Amy, you never thought you'd be able to laugh.
Oh, never. I was just wanting answers, but you're not, you won't get them.
And that's when we have to talk about, you know, just a thought. It's all, in case anybody doesn't know, my automatic negative thoughts are called Shirley. And Shirley's going, why did he do that? What did you do? What Shirley is going, when we go through these times of anxiety, Shirley goes off like a mother.
Yeah.
Worse than anything. But it's about even talking to Shirley and saying, Shirley, we may never get an answer here, and we have to be okay with that. You know, it's all going to be okay. Bit of self-love, bit of self-talk, bit of being kind to yourselves.
Do you know what I find the most interesting is I have a 22-year-old brother, and he's in a relationship now. But he did once ghost a girl. Now, this was after I got ghosted. And my brother, by the way, wanted to like proper get at this boy whenever he done that to me. Like he was like, how dare he do that? But then he did it. So it's like, if it's done to like their sister or their mum, they are furious, but then they themselves will go and do it.
Fascinating. Well, find out from him for next time how we could give people the tools, because I think it's the lack of awareness. I mean, he's very young, so his lack of awareness of how to break up.
Yeah, I think for guys, it's just easier not to have that hard conversation. It's a cowardly way out.
It's the avoidant attachment style, isn't it?
Because they don't want to sit and see you cry. It's easier for them to just block it out and go.
Yeah. And there could be part of it where it's like, I don't want to hurt her like that. I'm just going to, maybe somewhere in the brain.
Yeah.
But it's not good. We don't like it. It's not good. We have to get the tips and tools to know how to break up well.
Like, all I would say to that girl is, you're honestly so much better off. I know you won't feel it right now, but you honestly are. So,
as you said, Amy, better find out now than in years to come.
Yes, exactly.
We'll do one last one, Amy.
One last one. Okay, last one is, I want more sex than my husband.
Oh, that's it, right? Okay, straight to the point. I like it.
Yeah, she's straight to the point. Yeah.
And I love that it's that she wants more sex than her husband, because we're sick hearing about, men. So love it. Okay. So again, difficult conversations. She must, I'm imagining she connects through the act of sex. And they tell us, the data tells us that it's usually men who connect more through the act of sex, and women who connect more with the emotional, the talking, all the love languages, all that sort of stuff. But this is great. I love this. So they need to have a conversation about how much sex she would like and what's stopping that. So she might say she wants sex 4 times a week. And he might say, okay, well, can we work towards 2 times a week? And she'd be like, right, okay, well, 2 would be better than what we're having now. So she's going to go with that. And remember, the more sex we have, the more we want. It's like endorphins kick off. Okay. Yeah. So it might be once we get this show on the road, he might change his mind. So what is stopping this libido? What is stopping the drive? What's stopping the desire? And, one of my favorite books is Come As You Are. And she talks a lot about brakes and accelerators. So what are the brakes for him? Is he stressed at work? Are the kids running around? Are their evenings really busy? Do they have different time schedules? What are the brakes for him? And then what are his accelerators? So how can we put more accelerators in and less brakes? And then what are her accelerators and what are her brakes? Just a really lovely, easy way to start talking about it, rather than I want more sex.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very direct.
And Amy, we will have to also talk about the porn, because how on TikTok this one went a bit mental.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Jake is wanting to kill me.
He was like, speak to Amy. I was like, oh dear, what's happened? He goes, that one has to come down. But it's still up there. It's still up there. So I was doing a podcast, and the guys in the podcast were asking me, they actually knew tons about porn and how it was affecting our young people's mental health and all this sort of thing. So, and if you haven't listened to the Steve Bartlett one with Tracy Cox, it's really, really, really good. Really good. Tracy Cox has been a sexologist for 30 years or something. So anyway, if you're in a relationship and you are self-pleasuring, watching porn, not watching porn, but you're self-pleasuring, and it is affecting your sex life, we need to have a look at that. Okay. So if you're self-pleasuring at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and your person's coming home at 6 saying they'd like to have sex with you, and you've self-pleasured at 4 o'clock, now you might be somebody who that's not a problem. You can go ahead and have all the sex, and that's great. So therefore it's not not affecting your sex life. But if you're a person who's going, hold on, I just came there 2 hours ago and I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to do that again. Are you going to put explicit on this podcast now, Emmy? So I just came 2 hours ago, so I'm not really sure if I can do that now. We have to have a wee look at it. If your person is okay with that and they're like, oh, don't worry, tomorrow night's another night, grand. But if your person is not having their needs met because you're self-pleasuring, we have to have a wee look. We're not saying it's wrong or there's nothing like that. We're just saying if your person is going a month without sex, but you're self-pleasuring and your person is unhappy, then we'll have to have, not unhappy, if your person isn't getting their needs met. And she talks a lot, Tracy Cox would talk a lot about, we are in these relationships to meet each other's needs. What is the point getting into relation? We want our needs met, and it should be our pleasure to meet our person's needs. Now, I am not talking for 1 second that someone comes home and says, I want sex now. This advice that I'm giving is for people who are in loving, caring, healthy relationships. Okay. Sex should never be transactional. It should never be, well, I empty the dishwasher, so you need to give me the blah, blah, blah. Sex should never be like that. Sex should always be loving, caring, and kind. But we need to talk about all the things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. There shouldn't be a pressure there to do that. That's wrong then when that happens.
Absolutely. Or perform, like watching porn, any performance, anything like that. No.
Yeah. Can I just say something? That woman's name is great for her job.
First time I ever saw her, she's been around from before you were born. First time I ever saw her on like GMTV or something, I was like, that cannot be her real name. There's no way that's her real name, but it is. It's her real name.
It's perfect, isn't it?
Leave it like there's a lady who she's a TED Talk. Her name is Erica Lust, but she produces and directs authentic porn. So you have to buy this. But I was like, there's no way her name is Erica Lust. There's absolutely, and it is. Her name's actually Erica Lust. So there we go. There we go. Not even right. Will that do us for today, Amy?
That'll do us for today. Yeah, I think we could have a part 2 of question and answers because there is more. Yeah.
Perfect. And I'll put the wee question answers box up and we'll keep them coming. Listen, guys, thank you so much. Rate and review only if you liked it. If you didn't like it, don't bother rating and reviewing. And you can find Amy on Instagram, and your Instagram is Amy
Doherty XO. Yeah.
And obviously find me on Instagram, relationship.coaching.ni. And remember, guys, just a thought. See you next time. Oh,